It's another week of trying to stay alive in our survivor pools.
Survivor, man, that's like the beer bong of the contest.
We got knocked out of Survivor in week 1.
I think it's in my rules of Survivor. I think no Jaguars.
Every week, you can be done.
Survive and advance with us right now on BetQL Daily, presented by BetMGM.
Well, during the break, we're talking about, can we go and bet the Browns? Can we bet the Titans? What other garbage team? The Raiders? That's what we ended up talking about. We'll tell you where we land.
I'll be on Tennessee. I'll be on Tennessee for sure this week. I'd love 10, though. 10 would be great.
Why for sure? It'll get there.
Just
Nobody's betting
I have
the Titans.
The only way
Why?
The only way out of the foxhole is through ugly dogs. You know that.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, it could be another chalky week.
You're right. I'll build a 16 legger, favorites and overs. That'll get me out of the hole.
I also didn't say that. It's not one or the other extreme. It's not where you have to have all these chalky parlays or you have to pick the ugliest dogs of the week. There are other options out there, which we'll discuss. Okay. Well, we'll talk about some of these gross games here while talking about Survivor. There are 5 games with a point spread of 5.5 or higher, and I think that's a good jumping off point. There's 3 that I don't want to take. The ones that are 6.5, 6, and 5.5. There's a reason they're not at a touchdown. I'll quickly explain. I do not want to take the Rams. I'm sure people are going to take the Rams because they're going to say the Raiders stink, and they just traded away Devontae Adams. I never know when the Raiders are going to pop. When you're least expecting it, Antonio Pierce gets this team to play. So after they make the move of trading away a guy that publicly stated he didn't want to be there, and that's what Pierce is going to play up, I don't want to bet against the Raiders. So I'm not taking the Rams. And if you're going to take the Rams in Survivor, can I at least have Cooper Kupp? Can I have one of the receivers back? If you're going to go that route with the Rams, which you'll probably need them if you have some sort of a run, if you're in a revival pool or you're still alive. Bengals-Browns, divisional matchup. I don't like the way that the Bengals looked on Sunday night against the Giants, and they're not all that tough. They trade away Amari Cooper. Nobody wants any piece of the Browns. Divisional game on the road. I don't want to do it. And then Jaguars, London. Drake May's second start. We've seen these young quarterbacks improve so much just after a couple of starts. Doug's job's on the line. And then on the Patriots, we saw them play for him before. Are they going to do it again? They've been hanging out in London, so no travel aspect there. They've been there for a couple of weeks. And then the Patriots are leaving tonight. Tonight they're leaving for this game at Wembley Stadium. Bigger point spreads, but I don't want anything to do with Rams, Bengals, Jaguars. Are you okay taking any of those 3?
You're a big Rams guy, I thought. I thought you were a huge Rams guy this year. No? Am I mistaken? It must be somebody else on the network. Rams laying that many points? Come on. And I did search. I went to X and typed in Cooper Kupp as you were just talking. And here's the first video I see. Cooper Kupp is moving around. That's the progress.
He's alive. Kupp. He's an alive
moving around.
Being. Okay.
He's moving around, Joe. That's the status update on Cooper Kupp. McVay did say he's progressing to play. This is a 1-4 football team, and I believe they're coming off the bye. Yeah, the last time we saw the Rams, they were playing the Packers in a game in which, again, they got the ball late with a chance to win. As much as I think the Rams stink, I also have to play both sides here. In the last 2 games against Chicago and Green Bay, they got the ball with a chance to win the game. They lost by 6 to Chicago, 5 to Green Bay. But Staffy did get the ball with a chance to go down the field and score a touchdown. That is worth something. However, when you have a complete role reversal and a 1-4 team that can't hold leads in any of these games is now laying points, I want no part of that. And Paul put this in the rundown. John Ewing from MGM posted the popular Week 7 bets. Now, number 1 is Kansas City. 83% of the bets so far on Kansas City. That's a huge number. 78% of the bets on Rams minus 6.5. I don't think bet splits are the end all be all. I don't put a lot of weight in them. But what I do is I look at teams that are catching almost 80% of the tickets early in the week, and you expect that to continue going into the weekend. So we could look up on Friday or Saturday, and there's 84% of the tickets at MGM, at least, on Rams -6.5, which is not quite 7. It's 6.5, not 7. It could never be me. And the Rams this year just don't lay points. I mean, they haven't been a favorite. I mean, they were a 1-point favorite against Arizona. They were not favored at Detroit. They were not favored against San Francisco, and they were dogs at Chicago and against Green Bay. Now we're going to lay 7 points with them? Almost?
Never.
Never. Here's another team. For the first time this season, this team is laying more than a touchdown. They've been a 4-point dog on the close, 1-point favorite, 8-point dog, 3.5-point dog, 3-point favorite, 7-point dog. Now they're laying 7.5, 8. And of course, I am talking about the Jaden Daniels-led Washington football team, formerly known as the football team. 8 now. Opens 8.5. Actually came down a little bit. 8.5 at a couple books, 8 at MGM, 7.5 at a couple offshore shops. Can you bet Washington in Survivor?
Yes.
I think I could. Yes. I would not be laying 8 points, though, with the Commanders. That would not happen.
No. But for Survivor, I'm very comfortable with Washington. I actually walked away from that Ravens game when they lost by 7, and it was right on the number. Depending when you get it or got it, 6.5 much of the week. And then I think it closed 7 at a lot of spots, and then the game ends 7. Yeah, I actually was a little impressed because they didn't get blown out by the Ravens. They were never in threat of winning that game. I don't think anybody would sit there and say that. But, you know, they were hanging in the same neighborhood with them. And that's something that you would have never expected before the season. It's so chalky, but both of these teams have just been killing the over this year. It's going over, right? Like the Commanders' defense, and these are two of the worst defenses in all of football, and they have some life on offense with the Panthers, and the Commanders' defense is god awful. So I know it's
Johnson going to play, which is big.
A high number. It's a high number, but it's probably going over.
It's been bet up from 47.5 to 51.5. It's been bet up 4 points in 4 days.
Yeah. I'll be taking the Commanders in Survivor. I'll be taking the Bills in Survivor. They're the two largest point spreads. It's obvious, but obviously the question, Bills, short week, you add Amari Cooper, what sort of a boost is that? God, Levis sucks. So they're still going to keep doing this Levis thing? They're going to Buffalo this week. They're going to Detroit next week. How can you have any faith that they're going to win a game? So Survivor purposes, I'm okay. There's a reason these two games are above 7, Bills and Commanders. They are the most obvious. You should have, I think, both, if not one of them, available. And we could talk about some of the shorter numbers, but of the larger point spreads, I don't feel comfortable with Rams, Bengals, Jaguars. I am there with Bills, Commandos.
Well, you said coming into week 1, no Jaguars ever. No Jaguars. Did you see the report on Drake May? This was from Ben Volen at Boston Globe. Now, he's the only one reporting this, that Drake May went for an MRI on his knee after practice. So that is certainly something to pay attention to. They just went to the rookie. I'm not saying that it's a valid report. It's the only thing out there on this. But according to Ben Volen, growing concern about the knee of Drake May, who went for an MRI after practice. That is per Ben Volen of the Boston Globe. So if it is worse than maybe the team is letting on, the Patriots have to go back to Jacoby Brissett in London against the Jacksonville team that's been there for a week already and just got handed by the Bears. So this would appear to be a decent spot for Jacksonville, but I know I'm not going to convince you on the Jaguars. I know that's not happening.
No, not for Survivor purposes, and never in life am I laying 5.5, 6 with this team. Are you?
Fair enough.
What's the difference between Brissett and May? Like, is there a move? If May's out, is there a move on this number?
Can't throw. It's funny. Right. Brissett can throw the ball 70 yards in the air, but he can't complete a 5-yard in route. So the accuracy, to me, May is much more accurate already as a rookie. and just has more command of an offense. I think Brissett is a glorified backup.
No, I agree that he's an upgrade. But in the betting market, do you think that he already has that respect after one game that they did not cover, the Patriots?
Well, the look-ahead number was 3.5, and now the number is 5.5. And I don't know. I mean, before they started Drake May, we're talking about a number 3.5, and now it's 5.5. So maybe they're saying that the rookie's going to fall flat in London. I mean, there is support for Jacksonville this week. I don't know if it's more let's bet against a rookie or let's bet on Jacksonville with their backs against the wall. That feels like an unbettable game. I don't love the dog or the favorite in that spot.
I'm not doing anything in that game. I'm doing absolutely nothing. And now we lack clarity on the quarterback situation. So certainly worth noting. Keep an eye out. I did see some sixes pop yesterday, and I think there's one out there at some offshore shop. So not a sharp one. Just it's worth mentioning that there is a 6 out there, and we could get to that number. Of the shorter numbers, if I had to pick a point spread of the short number for Survivor, it would actually be one that's under 3. There are a number of them that are 3.5, and I think some of those 3.5 point dogs are actually live.
Minnesota?
I'd go Jets.
Oh!
I would go Jets.
Nate Collins on this show yesterday. Jets are a dumpster fire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for 1 week, the hype with Devontae, everybody's happy in the building. But most importantly, signs are pointing to Russell Wilson being the starting quarterback. And that would be the biggest reason with a beat-up Steelers offensive line, including, I think they're down to their third center at this point, like a bunch of injuries there with Russell Wilson, who's immobile at this stage in his career. Much worse than Fields. I don't know why they're making the move right now, but Mike Tomlin, it sounds like he's making the move. Nothing official yet. But, yeah, that's one I would take a look at.